Hello everyone, welcome to our today's video. Today we will be talking about risk response planning. In the previous few videos we have been discussing about quantitative risk analysis, and to just connect the dots, we have identified the risks. We then prioritized those risk events, either using qualitative or quantitative risk analysis. So now we have a prioritized list of risks that we want to take some actions or put some action plans in place. So see what really or what actually the action plan will be, what your response strategy will be, that will be subjective to the risk event. Like, say for example, due to festival season, we are anticipating that the workforce may go on extended leaves, leading to delays. Now, for this kind of risk event, I can uh, plan certain response strategies, like maybe put some incentives in place, or have some backup resources already available or ready, in case we need them. So, depending upon the risk event itself, the actual strategy will be uh, considered. However, theoretically, what we can discuss is the different categories in which or use under which we can plan certain response strategies. First up, we will be talking about threats, the uncertain events that will result into a negative impact. Now, for an uncertain event, which is a threat, I can try to avoid it. When I say avoid, I mean that we will do something in such a way that the risk is no longer applicable, that threat is completely removed. So I can say avoid means remove the threat completely. Do something in such a way that the threat doesn't exist anymore. Say for example, I want to avoid a threat of getting travel sick during a road journey. I can plan my travel using an alternative transportation, like maybe take a flight or go via train. So in this case, I have completely avoided the risk. Now, of course, we understand that there will be risks that we cannot avoid completely. In that case, we will like to have some mitigation done for them. Now, mitigation can be of two types. One is something that you do before the risk happens. This is primarily looking to reduce the probability of the risk occurrence itself. But sometimes there will be events where we do not have any control over the probability. I mean, we cannot do anything to reduce the probability of that event. So then in that case, we can also have a mitigation strategy that will be used if the risk happens. So in that case, we are primarily targeting to minimize the impact, if in case the risk happens. So say for example, for the same risk of getting travel sick, I can mitigate by taking a medicine before I start the journey, so that I can reduce the chances of getting travel sick. But I can also keep a medicine with me and use it if in case I get travel sick. So both of these are mitigations. One is done before the risk happens, or you can say one is implemented before the risk happens to reduce the probability. The other is for reducing the impact if in case the risk happens. Another technique that we can consider is transfer, primarily to a third party. either via outsourcing the risky work or the work that involves risk to a third party, or maybe by having an insurance to at least cover for the financial impact. Then we can also escalate certain risks, especially when the risk is beyond project manager's authority, or it's not within the scope of the project, and probably the program level or portfolio level would be more suited to handle that risk. So in that case, we may not want to plan any strategies and rather escalate it. And lastly, we can accept. Accept is basically do nothing. Sometimes we accept certain threats simply because they're too small and we don't really see any point of investing in putting a response strategy, and we are more than happy to just absorb the impact if in case it happens. Sometimes we cannot do anything, as in there is nothing literally that we can do about it, so we just have to accept it. There is no other way around it. So these are the strategies that we use to respond to our threats. Now, on the same lines, we also have strategies that we can use to respond to the opportunities. However, the naming convention will change, of course, because you don't want to avoid an opportunity. You will prefer to exploit it. You will try your best to get that opportunity. Then we want to enhance the opportunity and not mitigate, not reduce it, get the best out of it. Sometimes we may not be in the right position to take advantage of an opportunity, so we might want to share it with another organization who can come in and help us to take on an opportunity. And escalate remains escalate. On the same lines, if there is an opportunity which is beyond our authority, beyond the scope, then we might want to escalate it to program level or portfolio level. And again, accept remains accept, where maybe the opportunity is not worth pursuing and we just don't want to do anything about it, and we are saying that if it happens, we'll see what to do. So if I take a quick example of an opportunity, let's say there is a sale going on certain equipments, and our project will need those equipments at some point of time in future. Now, this is an opportunity that we will probably want to exploit. So we want to make sure that we can get the extra approvals to do that spending right now instead of maybe 2 months down the line, because we are getting those equipments at a cheaper price. So we are exploiting. Then enhance could be that we want to make sure that we get the maximum out of this opportunity by ensuring that we get certain additional discounts or coupons, or we use certain specific cards to get anything extra out of this opportunity. Share would not be possible here, but maybe a different example could be that I have an opportunity where I can close a contract with one of the customers. However, to close the contract, I need, or the customer wants, another type of speciality or skill set which we do not possess as an organization. So we can partner with a third party organization who can provide those kind of skills or competencies, and then we can present a joined up approach in front of our customer and get that contract closed. So these could be the strategies when it comes to dealing with the opportunities or responding to the opportunities. Now, a couple of terms here that we just want to pick up or discuss quickly. Number one, residual risk. See, a lot of times, even after you have applied or you have planned, implemented your strategies, there will be some leftover risk. That's technically known as residual risk. And an exam worthy information here will be that in order to reduce or minimize the residual risk, we should always have multiple response plans in place rather than relying on one response strategy. We should have two, three, four, or maybe even more. Like a very classic example, everyone understands the risk of fire. Now, to handle that risk, to respond to that risk, organizations invest in circuit breakers. They use fire resistant material. They have fire extinguishers, sprinklers, and so on and so forth. So they are having so many strategies in place just so that they can make sure that they can minimize the residual risk. And another term here that we should be aware of is secondary risk. Secondary risks are the risks created by the response plan. So it's like there's a primary risk, say for example, getting injured during an accident in a road accident. So the response is one of the responses is that manufacturers install airbags. Now, because of that airbag getting deployed, there is a secondary risk created that the force of the airbag may be lethal at times, especially for children below age of 14 or 13. So this is a residual risk where, oh sorry, this is a secondary risk where a risk is created by the response plan. So the thing that we want to keep in mind is that whenever we are creating or whenever we are finalizing the response strategies, we should analyze these response strategies from this point of view, that are they creating new risks in the system? If yes, then we have to also document them and perform the whole analysis for those secondary risks also. So that's all for this video. I hope we understood the concept of risk response planning. And once again, if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat box or the comment section, sorry, and I'll be happy to revert back. Thank you, take care, and we'll see you in the next video.